Badasses, body slams, and blonde bombshells. You're listening to the only radio show with balls. Piledriver.
If you smell what the Rock is cooking. Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Keep rolling, 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 rolling.
It's all about the game, and how you play it. It's all about control, and if you can take it.
Piledriver.
This is Raz. We're coming to you from the entertainment wrestling capital of the world in the heart of Times Square, New York City. The only city with 2 championship baseball teams, lots of balls and bats, and with me, a man with no balls or a bat. It's the Kodiak Bear.
Raz, the only bats you have are in your belfry, and the only balls you have are in your mouth. That's right, it's the Kodiak
Well,
Bear.
yeah, you got one big catcher's mitt, big ass.
Oh, at least I'm a pitcher, not a catcher. That's right, it's the Kodiak Bear, 351 pounds. On this week's Piledriver, Raz gets in the ring with Angus Young of AC/DC.
I'll tell you the first time I ever tried to figure out who Angus Young was.
Yeah.
I'm in college, it's 1980.
Yeah.
I'm in a stall, I'm getting ready to go to the restroom.
Yeah.
And somebody etched on the door, Angus Young has sweaty balls. And I'm like, who the hell is Angus Young?
That must have been that hot date I had, you know.
Could have been. It could have been.
It's WWF Backlash Weekend, which means we have WWF prize packs to give away. So let's start this week's Big Balls AC/DC edition of Piledriver, the rock and wrestling radio show.
Piledriver.
Well, it's the big show.
Piledriver.
Freak, what wrestling superstar gives Piledriver the hardcore tune-up?
One half of the WWF, 7-time tag team champ. He is way cool and so totally does not reek of anything heinous. Christian tells Piledriver what band gets him jacked before he hits the squared circle.
Speaking of squares, here's a guy who's trouble finding his way out of the driveway. Otis, what rumors are you cooking up this week?
All right, I am sick and tired of talking about the WWF. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy the WWF, and I look forward to every Monday and Thursday. But there are other things to talk about, damn it. Check out this week's Speculum. Back to you, GW.
I'm Candy. Let's talk chicks in the ring. Which babe of wrestling will be appearing on The View? Which ex-chick wrestlers have turned to stripping? And which wrestling ladies were booted out of a WWF SmackDown taping in Philadelphia? No, it wasn't Kodiak, but I'll have all the details for you in Candy's Corner.
Hey, Candy, I've been meaning to ask you. Since the city has a leash law, how come you've never been arrested?
Because you're number 1 on their most wanted wild animal list.
And you're number 2 in the streets. As always, let's ring the bell and let the mayhem begin.
Damn you!
Kodiak, what's crushing your bones this week?
Well, my bone crusher is from what the Godfather likes to do. It's Godsmack. Here's their new one, Greed.
Kodiak's Bone Crusher.
Piledriver.
Radio's only piece of ass certified grade A. It's time for Candy's Corner.
Yes, it's true. As nauseating and annoying as any TV show I have ever seen, China will be a guest on that puke fest, The View, with Barbara Walters and those irritating hags.
You mean your sisters?
She will appear on Wednesday, May 9th. China will be promoting her book and fitness video. Let's hope she body slams those bitches. Well, I've got word that some former wrestling babes are back doing what they do best. Stripping. What else?
Woo-hoo!
Yeah, word is Gorgeous George, Leah Meow, and Ryan Shamrock are back swinging around that pole and accepting dollar bills in their G-strings.
Did you say they were swinging?
Nice to see these ladies have a career to fall back on. So who is Trish Stratus's next conquest? I'm hearing that Y2J might be getting Miss Bubble Boobs as his valet over the next few weeks. How cute! They can share hair washing and styling tips.
Maybe he could tame her lion, or her leopard, or her pussy.
All right, enough. Well, that's it for now. I'll be back next hour with more dirt on what ladies got thrown out of a WWF show and who got a tryout at a recent Raw's War. Remember, Slappies, rumors are just rumors, and I've got them. This is Candy, and you're in my corner now.
Let's find out what band one of your wrestling superstars gets fired up to before they enter the ring.
I'm Christian of the WWF. You're listening to the Piledriver, the rock and wrestling radio show, and the hardcore tune-up of the week is the Stone Temple Pilots.
Hardcore tune-up of the week. Piledriver. The most electrifying show in radio entertainment today.
Stone Temple Pilots, this week's hardcore tune-up from WWF's Christian. It's dirt time, and here's the king of dirt. I think that movie Joe Dirt is based on his life.
They do have the same hairdo.
The Speculum with Otis Brawl.
ECW filed for bankruptcy on April 4th. Extreme has left the building, folks. It is truly a shame, but I'm not here to offer yet another tribute to the groundbreaking organization. No, I'm going to be picking the bones. We are going to look at the anatomy of a fallen federation. Facts and figures are available to all who know where to look. Lucky for you, I'm nosy. So when the final bell sounded, ECW was in the hole close to $9 million. They declared assets of almost $1.5 million. Let's go down the list of creditors, shall we? The largest creditor is Anodius Inc. I hope I said that right. They're a subsidiary of Acclaim Entertainment. Did I say subsidiary right? Anyway, they are owed $1 million. They are also a 15% owner of ECW, a deal signed when ECW went into the video game business. I suspect this, like many other claims, is partially a paper loss for legal reasons, likely an advance not paid off from video game sales, or something along that line. Similarly, the WWF is claiming over $500,000. This is probably the salaries the WWF paid to WWF workers while they were in ECW. I don't think the WWF ever intended to be repaid, and this is just paper shuffling for tax or legal reasons. Other creditors include Farm Club Online, Inc., the original San Francisco toy makers, MSG Networks, Inc., for the hardcore TV broadcasts, In Demand for the pay-per-views, and a number of wrestlers. The wrestler owed the most money is Rob Van Dam with a balance of $150,000, the same amount owed to In Demand. The other wrestler with a six-figure amount owed is Tommy Dreamer, who's owed an even $100,000. Other big-ticket amounts are owed to Joey Styles, Francine, Rhino, and, of all people, Shane Douglas. A few wrestlers are listed as owed unknown amounts. These include Spike Dudley, Jerry Lynn, James Mitchell, a.k.a. Sinister Minister, New Jack, and the Sandman. Sabu and Steve Corino are both listed as being owed nothing. This may have something to do with contract violations, but I'm not sure. Next hour, we'll get a little more upbeat. Look at the assets the company is holding.
Piledriver. Piledriver. Piledriver.
We're back quicker than Kodiak at Denny's Breakfast Buffet.
Breakfast where?
As Raz gets in the ring with Angus Young of AC/DC.
Where's breakfast?
Sit down!
This is Angus Young and...
Brian Johnson from AC/DC.
And if your balls are big enough, then
there's only one radio show for you.
Piledriver.
If you don't want to lose any teeth, you better not change the station. Piledriver will be right back. Are you ready to get your skull bashed in? Piledriver's back.
It's Raz. Let's get back to the ass kicking because you got your radio tuned for a whooping. This is Piledriver.
Hey, Odor Ass, what's your bone crusher this week?
Ha! We got an O-ass and a big ass on this show. Raz, you can be a dumbass, and Freak is just an ass.
And you take it in the... Never mind.
No, I'm just a piece of...
What's been crunching Brawl's bone this week? Well, it's a little ditty from Kid Rock. Judging from the angry emails I've been getting, it was written for me. I am the Bull God. Play the song.
Otis's Bone Crusher. Bone Crusher.
Piledriver.
Piledriver. Piledriver. The Rock and Wrestling Radio Show. Rock and Wrestling Radio Show.
Let's start our match with Angus Young of AC/DC.
Let's get in the ring with Raz.
Angus Young.
How you doing?
AC/DC. Raz here. How you doing?
Good, good.
All right, give me a couple things here.
Yeah?
17 CDs and albums since the early 70s.
Yes?
You still hold a place in rock hierarchy. Thousands of concert tickets everywhere you go. How do you do it when some guys can't even get out of the garage? I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's just putting that first foot out the door, you know?
But how do you still write such great material? Some guys only have one hit and they can never do it again.
Well, I think we, you know, as a band, you just know what you do best, you know, and we've always stuck to the, you know, what we do best, which is rock and roll music. Yeah. And we haven't sort of tried to steer it any other way. We just keep sticking to that, and that's always our goal, to make a good rock and roll album, you know.
I'll tell you, the first time I ever tried to figure out who Angus Young was.
Yeah.
I'm in college. It's 1980.
Yeah.
I'm in a stall. I'm getting ready to go to the restroom.
Yeah.
And somebody etched on the door, Angus Young has sweaty balls. And I'm like, who the hell is Angus Young?
That must have been that hot date I had, you know?
It could have been. It could have been. I have a list of some facts that are supposedly true about AC/DC.
Yeah.
Can you help us out with a couple of them?
Okay.
One of the things that's quoted for Malcolm was that up front bisexual women would come in and hold up vibrators
That's
and
right,
cut
yeah.
holes in their T-shirts.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
That's a
yeah,
true
they would
story?
come in, you know, some of them look for the conversion, you know?
And they were looking
Please
at AC.
make me straight, they would say.
Now, here's another fact that I found in the sheet. And this is all off the internet, so
Yeah.
that's why I'm wondering if it's true or not.
Yeah.
You came up with the line, dirty deeds done dirt cheap, from the cartoon Beanie and Cecil.
Yeah, Beanie and Cecil.
Yeah, when a guy, Dishonest John, had a card that said, dirty deeds done dirt cheap, holidays, Sundays, and special rates.
That's right, yeah.
Now, was that CD actually done as an extra CD, an extra album to hold in the can until you ran out of ideas?
No, we had made that record, but at the time, I think it was in America, the people who were running the company, they says, you know, what are you working on? And we were actually in the studio then. We were doing Let There Be Rock, the album. And they said, well, we want what's current, you know, what you're doing, which was at the time with Let There Be Rock. So they said, you know, we want that album. And then years later, then they changed their mind, you know, when after Highway to Hell, when we started selling a lot of records in America, then they said, oh, we want that Dirty Deeds now, you know.
So you just hung on to it
and
until
we
the
said,
time
no,
was
you
right.
can't have it. Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Better than a beer bong. It's Piledriver. The Rock and Wrestling Radio Show. The Rock and Wrestling Radio Show.
So do you want to win a WWF Backlash prize pack? I'm talking to you! Turn up your radio in case you can't hear me!
Raz, I think they get the point.
Just making sure, all right?
Just answer our Bite Back question this week and you'll be eligible to win a WWF Backlash prize pack.
Call your local cable operator and order WWF's Backlash this week on pay-per-view, all right?
Aight?
FU of the week.
Freak. F-U.
Candy, F you back.
No, it's your turn to do the FU. And I'm sure since you always have a lot of pent-up hostility, this ought to be a good one.
I recently bought a copy of the Best of Backyard Wrestling.
Nice life.
Now, let me say this first. You are a moron if you jump off the roof of your house. You are an a-hole if you set yourself on fire. And you're a dumbass if you think you're tough for letting someone smack you over the head with a light bulb. Enough said. The Best of Backyard Wrestling is quite possibly some of the funniest crap I've ever seen. These people are morons, yes, but boy, is this tape entertaining. I laugh my ass off at these idiots. Plus, there's some really nice booby shots. So I do give these imbeciles who do this backyard wrestling a big FU, but the makers of the tape are brilliant. They're getting paid, and a bunch of stupid morons are breaking their bones for them. That's capitalism at its finest. Thank you.
Let's find out which one of you, the Piledriver faithful, wants to be this week's Body Slam Song of the Week.
Just dial the Piledriver line at 1-877-792. You haven't heard it for a couple of weeks. Slam!
And if we pick your song, you get a free kick-ass Piledriver t-shirt to wear the next time you hillbillies go swimming in your local creek. Yeehaw! So give us a call, 1-877-792-SLAM. It's a free call.
Hey, you're on the air.
Yo, this is Shane Palmquist. I listen to Piledriver on 103.7 The Crow Sioux Falls, and my Body Slam Song of the Week is Voices by Disturbed because it kicks ass, so does Raz.
I don't know if it was his accent or what. Did he say kick ass or kiss ass?
Piledriver.
The #1 radio show of truckers coast to coast. Keep hauling, jabronis.
After a quick break, Raz is still in the ring with the one, the only, Angus Young of AC/DC.
Angus.
Hey, this is The Undertaker, and you're listening to the Piledriver Rock and Radio Show.
Don't move your candy ass. Piledriver returns. We're back with more Piledriver.
It's Raz thanking everyone who lets Piledriver kick their ass each week on great rock stations like 93.3 WMMR Philadelphia, X106 Huntington, West Virginia, and C101 Corpus Christi, Texas. Here's brand new Black Rose.
Black Rose? I thought candy was white.
Piledriver. Piledriver, the Rock and Wrestling Radio Show. Rock and Wrestling Radio Show.
Raz is still body slamming Angus Young of AC/DC as they talk about the current tour.
Let's get in the ring with Raz.
What are you doing on this one with Satellite Blues? Is there anything special as far as the effects are concerned?
Yeah, we've got it's a huge stage, you know, and the whole size of it, it's just enormous. And you know, we've got a few different things, you know, that we hope people will get into. You know, I don't want to give away too much.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but I mean, it's definitely worth, you know, it's a good visual. We always know that, you know, that, hey, you've got, you know, good rock and roll music, but we always, with us, it's always, we know that you have to, you know, it's got to be a good rock and roll show, you know, and so, you know, we try to put a little bit of circus in it, so.
Are you going to do Stonehenge?
I'm going to use Stonehenge. I think Tap's got that one, I think.
Yeah. Now, who did you listen to growing up that gave you such sick, twisted ideas?
Yeah, well, a lot of those children's cartoons, I think.
Yeah, but as far as rock and roll was concerned, though.
In fact, a lot of our basic stuff was, you know, a lot of from the early guys, you know, Chuck Berry, Lil Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, you know. I think Jerry Lee Lewis is probably the killer. You know, he had the lifestyle that even people like Keith Richards, you know, they look, you know, pretty much like a school kid next to Jerry Lee Lewis, you know.
Of course. Malcolm and Angus Young have been famous rock and roll brothers, and a lot of people respect what you do.
Yeah.
Do you ever laugh at Liam and Noel Gallagher?
I always look at it this way, you know, you got brothers, you share a lot in common, you know.
Yeah, but do you ever want to kick your brother's ass on stage?
On stage? No. He's right behind me. He can kick my ass.
But, I mean, I look at those two guys and I go, they got such a franchise going.
Yes.
And here they are, throwing it down the toilet.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I suppose it's, you know, maybe, you know, something, you know, I grew up, see, there was 7 boys in my family, you know.
Wow.
To my father, everyone was the same, you know. He was a bit like Charlie Chan, you know, number 1 son, number 2 son.
Right.
You know, so you'll get the same attention, you know. And because you're a big family and you grow up, there was never, you know, and probably because at the time there was never a lot of money, so, you know, everything was sort of shared out, you know. Everyone got got an equal deal. So, you know, we grew up, and most of the times it was like, you know, you all stuck together a lot, you know, when you're in a big family, you know.
The Rock and Wrestling Radio Show.
Dirty deeds done dirt cheap. Dirty deeds done dirt cheap. You shook me all night long. Back in black, out of the sack. Been gone too long, it's good to be back. I got big balls, yeah, I got big balls. There's such big balls, they're dirty big balls. And he's got big balls, and she's got big balls. We got the biggest balls of them all.
What the hell was that?
That's a band called Hayseed Dixie. They're from the South. And that's a hillbilly tribute to AC/DC. Get the CD at dualtone.com. That sucked, didn't it? Now here's the real AC/DC from the latest CD, Stiff Upper Lip.
Piledriver, the Rock and Wrestling Radio Show.
It's a WWF Backlash weekend on pay-per-view, so you know what that means. We have lots of Backlash prize packs to give away to you slappies.
Just answer our Bite Back question and you'll be eligible to win. The question is on our Bite Back line. Dial 1-877-792-SLAM.
That's 1-877-792-SLAM to order WWF's Backlash. Call your local cable operator.
After a quick intermission, we're back with our numero dos, a Piledriver. Raz is still in the ring with AC/DC, and we go to the Piledriver line and hear from psychos like yourself.
Hey, this is Patrick from the Union Underground. You're listening to the only radio show that will kick your ass, Piledriver.
Don't wet yourself. Piledriver will be right back. You're listening to Piledriver, the Rock and Wrestling Radio Show.
It's Raz. You're listening to Piledriver, the only radio show guaranteed to cure constipation.
Kinda like Candy's face.
Kinda like your stench.
Get your tables and ladders ready. It's time for the steel cage match.
This week, our challenger comes in at 876 pounds. hails from the New York City metro area, and these tough motherfuckers will hurt you. Here's Stereo Mud with Pain.
This week's contender.
Piledriver. Who's going to walk away? Piledriver Steel Cage and Mud Bowl champion. Email us at piledriver@mji.com. That's this week's contender, Stereo Mud, or heavyweight champ, Mud Vane. So if you don't want the Kodiak Bear to show up at your house and mud wrestle your mammy, you better email us now.
At piledriver@mji.com.
Mammy wrestling. I like it.
Hey, this is Chris from Saliva, and here's the hottest chick on the radio. It's Candy, and it's time for her corner.
So what wrestling chicks were booted from a WWF taping recently? Those gorgeous ladies of wrestling glow. It seems these bad girls were causing such a ruckus at a WWF show in Philadelphia, they got booted. Girls, advice from Candy. It's fine to try and get noticed, but not to piss off the man who owns almost the entire world of wrestling. Hello? What were you thinking? ECW's Jazz was given a tryout in a dark match recently with Ivory at last week's SmackDown taping. We will soon see what the McMahons think of her. Meanwhile, Princess of the Mac Clan herself, Stephanie McMahon Helmsley, has been added to the UK pay-per-view Insurrection.
Bloody well good, babe!
And for you horn dogs who can't get enough of her, it's your lucky day. She also has a new framed photograph for just $6 at the WWF Shop Zone. Hey, I got the $6 frame Triple H. It's cheesy, but it's still a fine picture of him. Till next week, remember, rumors are just rumors, and I've got them. This is Candy, and you're in my corner.
This is Slash, and you're getting a chair shot to the head on Piledriver, the rock and wrestling radio show.
The only radio show to make the FBI's top 10 most wanted list. Piledriver. 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 The rock and wrestling radio show. Rock and wrestling radio show. Piledriver.
After a quick break, we're back kicking some ass, and Candy and Freak's Bone Crushers are on the way. We head into the pit, too, so grab your helmet.
I got my Jimmy Cat.
What's a Jimmy Cat? Oh.
We're the Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray and Devon of the WWF. And you're listening to Piledriver, the rock and wrestling radio show. Testify!
Don't even think about switching the station, you piles of monkey crap. Piledriver will be right back. It's time to get your ass kicked. Piledriver's back.
I'm Raz if you're mentally unstable.
Yeah, what? What are you going to say? Go ahead, say it. I don't care. Go ahead, say it. Say it, Raz. Tell everybody what.
Then you're listening to the right radio show.
Oh.
Candy, it's your turn. What's your bone crusher?
The way this show is done every week, my way. Here's Limp Bizkit.
The way you do this show every week, my biscuit's limp.
Candy's Bone Crusher. Piledriver.
You want dirt? Well, he's got it.
He is so dirty.
This man lies for a living. It's the Speculum with Otis Brawl.
Well, clearly ECW owes something to virtually everyone they were working with at the end. What do they have to pay off some of this debt? Well, I'll tell you. According to the bankruptcy filing, ECW has approximately $1.5 million in assets. These include $2,000 in Paul Heyman's personal bank account, $4,000 in unsold merchandise, a '98 pickup truck worth $19,000, and the video library. Almost $15,000 is still owed on the truck, which I'm told is Tommy Dreamer's company vehicle. Mr. Dreamer may want to start thumbing through the used car ads, as he may need some new wheels soon. They also list payments owed from many of the creditors at a total of almost $900,000. Obviously, the real meat and potatoes is the video library. I understand Pioneer, who does the videos and DVDs, may put in a claim for the library. Apparently, the ECW DVDs are scheduled to keep coming, and Pioneer wants to ensure access to the tapes. I wish I knew more about this situation, but I suspect it'll be for the courts to decide. Vince McMahon desperately wants to own that library, or, at the very least, have access to it. Many of his wrestlers spent time in ECW, and he could get a big bang out of a comprehensive Steve Austin or Mick Foley career DVD video collection. Look for a big fight over the ECW archives. And as long as we're talking EC-Dub, Balls Mahoney got banned in Maryland for allegedly crossing the line. He was battling RVD at a recent show. The Maryland State Athletic Commissioner informed everyone there was to be no blading or the show would be shut down. Well, once they got to going, a wound from a previous show opened up on Balls, and out came the Crimson Mask. The commissioner ordered the fight stopped immediately, but Old Balls didn't want to cheat the fans, so they kept going. After the show, the commissioner banned Mr. Mahoney from ever wrestling in Maryland again. Ever. This will make him jump to the big boys. Highly unlikely for Balls. Hey, I barely mentioned the WWF at all. Pretty good, huh? Send all your AWA and Texas Turnbuckle dirt to obrawl@AOL.com. Back next week with more rumors, dirt, and lies.
Piledriver, Piledriver, Piledriver.
Time to get filthy. Kodiak, you ready?
Yeah, I'm filthy enough.
Freak?
I like my girls filthy.
Candy, are you filthy?
Absolutely not. I'm the cleanest one here.
I'm filthy.
Get ready for a black eye. It's time to get in the pit.
Kodiak, go!
I can't believe how much I actually miss watching the WCW. Since they've been off the air, the WWF programming really sucks. Hey, Crowbar, thanks for all the help in the gym. You are a true professional and a true friend. Big shout out to the pub bully down in FLA. Congrats on your marriage and your upcoming kid. Now, if the kid comes out with a beard, bald head, and small don't look at me. Don't look at me.
Kodiak,
I'm done.
Shut up. Freak.
Deborah's skirts are so short, I think I see peach fuzz. I see peach fuzz, and I like peach fuzz. Grandmaster Shakshai, his gimmick is by far so stupid, I can't handle it anymore. The only thing I can save him is Vanilla Ice. Is TNN actually congratulating themselves for getting ratings? Hello, when you go from 0 people to 10, I'm not that impressed. Besides WWF, your network still sucks. Has anyone told Tupac he's dead? How does that guy still have CDs coming out?
Shut up!
Explain it to me. I know he's nothing to do with wrestling. How does he have CDs coming out? I don't get it.
Candy,
I don't get it.
Candy, the voice of reason, go.
I think Edge and Christian should drop the concerto and do a Candy-O. God bless the promoters of WWF for putting Triple H all over the Backlash pay-per-view. I got lots of free posters of him now. China, you better watch out while you're putzing around in the ladies division. Lita's beating up the guys. That's it.
That's it?
That's all I got. I was on vacation this week, boys.
Somebody introduce me.
Raz.
Jackass.
Loser.
Fool. I hope I never become one of those 40-year-old a-holes that walk out of the house with a replica WWF Championship belt. The best part of Stone Cold and Triple H planning revenge on one of the Hardys was Stephanie's right breast filling my TV screen. Good television. Sign of the week, Kurt Angle is my daddy. Message to Justin Credible. How many times did your mommy tell you not to wear her pantyhose? Do you find that the world isn't right if you miss a night of Raw or SmackDown? I think I'm addicted.
You're not the did part.
My favorite part of going to a recent SmackDown is yelling like an idiot. Man, I feel like half of Vince McMahon's money spent. Ha! That's this week's bid.
You look more like his grapefruit. That's right, it's the WWF Backlash Weekend. So if you don't want us to lash your backside, answer this week's Bite Back question. And if you do, you'll be eligible for the WWF Backlash Prize Package. So call the Piledriver line now! 1-877-792-SLAM.
So if you didn't understand a word Kodiak just said, it's 1-877-792-SLAM. WWF's Backlash is on pay-per-view this weekend, so call your local cable operator to order it.
Freak! Let me hear it.
My Bone Crusher, Raz, is from Rob Zombie, and it's what Kodiak dates. Drag queens! Here's Dragula! I thought that myself. I thought it up all myself.
Freak's Bone Crusher. Piledriver. The Rock and Wrestling Radio Show.
Don't move. We tell you slap asses who gets in the ring next week on Piledriver.
Hey, this is Dexter from The Offspring. You're listening to Piledriver, the SmackDown on the Rock and Wrestling Radio Show.
We'll be back with more Piledriver. You're listening to Piledriver, the Rock and Wrestling Radio Show.
That wraps up this week's Big Balls AC/DC edition of Piledriver.
Next week, we get in the ring with Paisley, that hot piece of ass from the WCW, and she tells us some inside dirt.
WWF's Dead Man Walking, The Undertaker tells Piledriver what his hardcore tune-up is.
Do you want to talk to the Kodiak Bear?
No.
Well, then just email him at kodiakbear@kodiakbear.cc. Do you want to talk to us?
No.
Well, then email us at piledriverproducer@mji.com or call us at 1-877-792-SLAM. It's free.
This is Candy.
This is Freak.
This is the Kodiak Bear.
This is Raz. Keep it in the ring. The executive producer of Piledriver is Joshua Feigenbaum. Senior producer Phil Rado. Written and produced by Corey Natko.
He kicks so much ass.
Associate producer Karen Carson.
She sucks.
Engineered by Rafael Jimenez.
He sucks
Production
too.
assistants by John Weber, Michael Azar, Diane Tonelli, Dwayne Crawford, Herb Perez, John
They all suck.
Boyanelli, and
They all
Vinny
suck.
Miko.
They all suck. They all
Piledriver
suck.
is exclusive
I'm the
presentation
only one who doesn't
of
suck.
the MJI Radio
I don't
Network.
suck.
Is he annoying?
I'm the only one who doesn't
I
suck.
live with it all week.
Copyright 2001, all rights reserved. No portion may be used without the written permission of the producers. Anything else?
Raphael doesn't suck.
Everybody sucks but me.
Everybody sucks but me.
Do you spit at least?
Shut the machines off. Let's go home.
Piledriver is not affiliated with the WWF or any wrestling federation or publication. We're nobody's bitch.